Laura with Potpourri of Life. I hope that you're doing great and happy Thanksgiving week. I hope your week is going well for you, and I hope that you're finding things that you can be thankful for. And I realize it's hard for some people, and we all have experienced bad holiday seasons and stuff. So what I want to share with you is, I'm going to tangent right to what my purpose of my video is today, is that last week I shared my shopping haul, which is not the same as most people. So I'm going to share what I got this week. Now, mind you, it's just two of us. We're in our mid-60s. We eat differently than other people. We don't consume, we don't purchase the same type of foods as others. We are making different type health food type choices. So we kind of like shop the perimeter of the store. And we've been doing that for a while now. And actually for quite a while, probably more than 10, 12 years. So that is a good thing. But it's getting even more so because my husband has got on board because he has seen a change. That does not mean we don't have complications in our health at all. It just means we are making choices so that those complications are less stressful for us. And by eating the way we do, it helps our mental fatigue that comes along when you're not having good things happening. So that being said, you saw the video that I did at first about what I got. Not everything is here on the table because some things need to be refrigerated. So you saw that I got what I didn't show is that I did get another turkey this week because I put the couple that I bought last week and I put them in the freezer, and then I decided that these are going to stay in the freezer so that I can use them because of the price. This is how I shop. When something is at a good price, I get it. You know, I might get 2, maybe 4. Today I got 1. But when you get a good price on something, it is really handy to get that later because like in this season, turkeys rarely go down to an affordable level throughout the year. So when they're 39 cents, a couple weeks ago they were 59, and then this week at a different store, it is 39 cents. So being the frugal person I am, I put that into my budget this week. And this is how I shop. I only shop sale items and seasonal items. And that being said, I'm going to share what I got. So I got that. And by the way, a haul to me is kind of a funny term because this is my grocery shopping. And people say haul, it's like big. And those who share their hauls are because they have big families or they live far away from their closest place to buy groceries. They could be way out. So it's like they go shopping once every 3 to 6 months. So it is a haul. They're getting a large sum of products for their household. So one of the things that I got that was not on my list, and I just want to share that sometimes this happens. One of the things that I wanted to get for the holiday, and I try to pick them up during this season, are nuts. Now, these were not on sale, but it reminded me, I'm trying to get nuts. These here were the honey roasted peanuts, and I like planters, not a big deal. This is how intense my husband is starting to become. I don't know if it's annoying or if it's just funny. He saw the peanuts, he took them out, he goes, why are you getting these? Look at all that salt. I'm like, oh gosh. And so I'm just like, yes, but look at the other thing that I'm doing, honey. I'm buying dry roasted, no salt, peanuts. He goes, yeah, but I said, there's 0 sodium. Because the sodium in these are 85 milligrams. And I'm not sure if that's good or bad because I honestly don't buy food with salt in it anymore. The peanuts I did, and I really kind of hesitated before I bought them because I really don't like the salt. But I like honey roasted peanuts. That is to die for. No, not really. There's better things out there. So what I do with that, my goal is to take those, mix them all together, and yes, I know I'm going to break that seal. But I'm going to break those seals and I'm going to mix them together, and then I will put them away in individual sections so that I can preserve them, not in the freezer. I don't know if I can freeze them. I have to look into that. But I'm going to put them aside so I can have a pre-measured snack. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know me that when I get stressed, I might grab a little bowl and fill that up and that's sufficient? No. So I've decided that I'm not going to go for seconds. I will have a bag and I'll have to walk downstairs to get it, to have it. So that's what I'm going to do with those. Now I'm still on the lookout for good quality walnuts and peanuts and all those type things, but I'm watching the prices to see how I can get them in here without breaking the bank. And I realized that my original bill was $44 and I ended up spending $69. And some of you might say that's breaking the bank. No, but the reason it doesn't break the bank is because of the way I shop. And I'm hoping that some of what I'm sharing actually might make sense to those who don't shop like this. The other thing, frivolous, that we got, and it was for my husband because he chews gum. I can't make gum, so we're buying gum. So he wanted some tried. He goes, Laura, this is what I want. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he was going to get one. They were on sale, $2.99. I thought that was a regular price, but it's a sale price. It's half off. So I said, just get two because we don't shop at this store very often, and I haven't seen that flavor or that price where we normally shop. And he hesitated, and I said, just get it. And I went and got it so that we have it. And I know he appreciates it. I slowly like to try to find what he enjoys so that I have it on hand and I put it in a little box for him to have, so he knows where that is on our shelves. It's not right in center. I don't chew gum. I think it's disgusting. But he likes it, and so we all have to have our vices in life, right? So what else did I get? And I'm rambling. The other thing that I did get that's not on the table here was when I took the little video at first is some salmon. I got some salmon because it was 79 cents a pound. Now, that's a score price. I think I got some last week. I think right now they're doing a sale because of the holidays. So today I wanted to get 2 pounds. And so when the guy went to weigh it and stuff, he goes, how close to 2 pounds do you want it? I said, if it goes over, I'm fine. I eat that so much. So it ended up, he says, would 2.9 be okay? And I'm like, sure. So I got almost 3 pounds of salmon. 1 pound of salmon is like, for David and I, that's like, let's just say 4 to 6 individual meals. That's a lot of salmon. And because I eat it 2 to 4 times a week, it works for me. Now, I can eat it, like I cook it. I might even put it in, I might can it in little jelly jars the size of a tuna can. And that way when I want it to enjoy, like in a salad or with some fruit and other veggies, sometimes I just do it like a little fruit veggie dish, little mini thing, and I'll add that so I have that kind of protein going on. So salmon is not a waste, and at 79 cents, that makes sense for me to buy. This is how I'm able to keep my grocery bills down. Before I was struggling with all these prices, and so I started to be more intent. I now no longer go to the store just, well, I need these things. I am back to where I used to be 15 years ago, intently looking at the grocery flyers to see what do we need this week and what can I get that might be able to benefit us if I put it in the freezer. And that's where the salmon will be going. I haven't split it out yet. But anyways, so another thing that I got were this time I got the mandarins. Last week I got oranges, and I'm using them in some things that I'm making, so that's all good. And sometimes I make my own orange juice. So that's how I'm doing that. Let's see, what other things? I got Brussels sprouts. Now these will be used in our Thanksgiving meal. Now we can have oranges for breakfast all week. We can, and I also got some carrots because I've been enjoying the ones I picked up last week. They taste fine, and there'll come a time like between March and April, I'll stop buying the carrots. I'll stop buying different produce because it becomes old produce that's been held back or whatever, and then I'll start using the produce that I might have preserved, or I might be eating my salads. So my body kind of like, or my choice is to eat food in season to a certain time frame where it's still okay to keep eating after the season, such as apples. They are no longer, I can get apples at the apple farm up until Christmas, unless we get a blizzard. I talked to them today, and that big bag of apples I did get after the grocery store. That added $25 to my $69 purchase. So 70 plus 25 is $95. So I was still under $100. My goal is to shop $50 a week. And technically I can do this because I don't always go shopping. Sometimes the only shopping that's done is my husband goes to the grocery store for milk, creamer, and possibly bread if I'm not making it. Right now I'm making him bread, so he doesn't need to purchase bread at all. So I've got the Brussels sprouts, I got the carrots, and I will probably cook them up in, like, I like making carrots and brown sugar type of stuff, but he might not want that, so it depends. Or I will use these not only for daily snacking, but I will also use them possibly in a stew type mix. Then I also got some more grapes, and I don't know if I shared this last week. When I purchase grapes, when I'm able to go into the store, which I did today. Last week I did a pickup. That was interesting. Actually, I kind of liked it. And but I went in, and what I do is I kind of rub the item on my sleeve, the grapes on my sleeve. Too many times have I come home and the grapes taste horrible. Yes, I can go back and return them, but I would rather not have to take that extra step of spending gas, time, and all that kind of stuff and being discouraged, because what if I don't go for a couple of weeks? Then what do I do with this? I think I can still return them. I'm going to do my best to make sure we get good grapes when we go. So those are some of the things that I still have out. One of the things I did get, and I thought they were aluminum foil, but they're not, so I might have to return this. These are the Reynolds kitchen bags. They used to sell aluminum foil ones, and that's what I thought I was getting. And I don't usually cook with plastic around my food, so that might have to go back unless my husband feels differently. My goal was with the aluminum foil, and his thing was, but you have aluminum. And he's right. So I think I'm going to go with that, and if I go into town at all, I will probably run over and return this because I thought it was aluminum. That was my mistake, not the stores, but it hasn't been opened or anything, so that's what we'll probably do. So what I got this week, so I got the turkey bags that'll get returned, so that'll be $3 back. The Trident 2 packages, $6, and I'm rounding up because 98 and all the 99 type thing, and I don't really. So, and then my husband's wheat checks, that was on the list. The roasted peanuts and the unsalted peanuts were not on my list, but as I was walking towards the register, they were there, and the light bulb went on and said, "Oh, you've been looking for this? The prices were reasonable," and so I got them. I did get some frozen red raspberries because I plan on making something for my husband. And it was an 8-ounce bag for $2.69. So I didn't think it was too bad considering how the fruit is in the produce aisle. There's small containers, and you can spend about the same amount. And I thought, well, at least I don't have to freeze it. Yes, I think like that. And then our turkey was $5.17. I don't think that's bad. It's 39 cents, and I think it was like a 12 or 14 pound. You do the math. So that's what we ended up with. The grapes were expensive. I think it was, other than the salmon, that was the expensive item. It came to $7.62, and it was like 2.5 pounds. But it's something my husband eats. He eats apples, he eats grapes, he'll eat carrots sometimes. And there's some other things that he'll eat. Let's see. All right, and then I got the Brussels sprouts, $1.37, $2.50 for the carrots because it was 2 for $5. I only bought one. And then the mandarin oranges were $5, and the salmon was $23.65. So that's what came up to $69.63. Yep, 63. I don't know why one says 65. Oh, okay, $69.63. Now I went over to the farm to pick up my apples. Those are Macintosh, I love them, and I make apple pies. I'll freeze apple pie filling. Sometimes I can applesauce, and sometimes I make it. It really depends on what I'm using them for. And I was going to get 2 half bushels, but my husband knows how stressed I can be when I have too much on my plate. So we might go back after Thanksgiving and get another half bushel or sooner so that I can have the amount of apples that I want. They store them in a particular way so they don't go bad. So it's easier for me to just kind of wait a week, and they're only like 5 minutes away from here. So I'm okay with that. I think the price is high, $25 for 20 pounds, because I did weigh it. That's what I'm trying to do, is be aware of how much my pricing is. And it came to, I believe, 80 cents or something. We thought that when we were looking at the prices at the grocery store price seemed high. So my husband says, oh, we'll get the apples at the farm. And then when I came home, compared pricing, the apple farm was more expensive. But the farms are more expensive, and not by a great amount on the apples. The reason the farms are a little bit more expensive is because we are taking into account their manual labor, all the things that they have to do in order to process the food so that we can enjoy. Can I get apples at another place less costly? Yeah, there are other apple farms around. This one's right near us, and it's just easier for me to go up there and get that. Especially if he's with me, he can bring it out to the car. So that's how I do it. Now, once Christmas gets here, I won't have access to the farm who has apples that they hang on to, because they will be shipping them into the local stores, and that's where I'll be getting my apples and so forth. So this is what I got for Thanksgiving. So what about the stuffing, Laura? I actually want to make my own. So I'll make some bread, I'll make some stuffing. My husband saw that I had a box on the shelf that I bought a little bit ago, and he said, do you mind if I have this? Because he likes that, and even though I don't like processed food, I don't want to waste what we might have already purchased. So I didn't care, because he knows I will not be buying stuffing in a box or in a bag ever again, unless I know there is no additives in there. And let's see, what else I'll make my own gravy. I do have some, so if he doesn't want that, we can have that. But I'll make my own gravy for this. Let's see, what else do I have? I have sweet potatoes that I picked up last week. I didn't buy any this week. I have potatoes that I got from the farm this past fall, like a month ago. So this is when I shop, I buy in season, and I try to have enough. Now, I don't typically buy crackers. I typically don't buy cereal. Those are kind of like specialty items for us, whereas most people, this is their part of their grocery weekly budget, and it's not on ours. Ours is vegetables, fruit, and protein sources of fish and meat. So one of the things my husband did say is, he goes, I know you love salmon, Laura, but can we get some more haddock and more cod? It's like, okay. I made him some haddock. I think it was last week. So that's just the way I am. So what other things would I get in the grocery store if it wasn't for this? Well, let me get back to my grocery things. So this here for Thanksgiving week is reasonable. To me, it was more costly than I wanted it to be, but guess what? Once I'm done shopping for apples, I won't be going back. The $25 expense is not there. The potatoes that I bought this fall, I'll be processing them, and then I only bought one bag, so that's all I need, right? And then this is just the way I go. But in the interim, as the season changes after Christmas, because at Christmas time I want to get a ham, and we're not big ham eaters. We eat one ham a year, maybe. And what I do is I get a small one, because that's all we eat for ham. Though, I like bacon, so we have bacon in the house. And I talked to the farmer about, purchasing a pig from him, and he said, I can't make it all bacon. I knew he couldn't. We do like pork roast, and I have found that when I buy a pork roast, my husband is liking that. So that'll be something that I will bring back a little bit so that he's enjoying those. He lost interest in pork chops years ago, so I'm going to be bringing them back little by little. He does like a way that I make it that's in the frying pan, where I just saute it lightly, add in water, and I add in some seasonings, onions and stuff like that. And I used to make that, and he loved it, but for some reason he went through a cycle of, he's very particular about his meats. So as he's being particular, I'm just kind of tweaking things a little bit to see if he will like it. And the thing that's very, very important for me when I'm making him this kind of stuff is to make sure it's tender. And that's, because a tender meat is more flavorful. It's like when you buy chicken, you want small, organic chickens if you can. People who purchase large chickens, and I understand why you do because it's a lot of meat, those chickens are pumped up with all kinds of stuff so that those chickens can be processed quickly. If you compare a chicken from 1950 to today, a full-size chicken would be half the size. And those are tender chickens. So if I'm buying a chicken in the store, I make sure, I don't know if I can believe every label that's on things, of course, but I try to make sure it has no antibiotics, that it's organically raised and all that. And sometimes if I can, I will go to the farm and get them already. But right now I'm not, so I'm buying the smallest meat. And the other day when I was in Market Basket, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, I was in there and I wanted some chicken. I refused because the chicken breast was so big. They were bigger than my chickens when I had them. And it was like, this doesn't make sense. And I think once you start raising your own animals, like with the chicken, we had them for eggs. And we had them for a couple of years. And we will be getting them back. But there's a reason we don't have them now. And that's not relevant for this conversation, is that they were they were small. They were cuddly. I'm looking at this chicken in the meat counters and they're huge. So be aware that no bird is naturally that big. Now, turkey is big, but you want to make sure you're not getting a beast. You're getting a chicken with good flavoring, and the smaller the chicken, the better the flavoring. I'm just putting it out there, and maybe you can experiment. Buy some small chicken breasts and buy a large chicken breast and kind of tell, because the large ones are very tough to eat. And as I've adapted and changed the way I'm buying for him, he is finding that the food is more flavorful. So another thing that this does is that you're cutting back on how much you're spending, but you're also cutting back on how much you're consuming, because when you don't have food that is full of antibiotics or fillers and all of that, you'll find that you're not as hungry. You'll find that you're not so stressed. Now, I'm stressed, but it's not the same as it used to be, and it's pretty cool to kind of see how your body changes because of the choices you make. We don't eat a lot of sweets, although I do like chocolate, and I plan on making my husband some chocolate, some special chocolates for the holidays. But we are focused on what's really good and nutritious. And I think if you start doing that, you might find that your grocery bill will go down. It seems expensive, okay? A lot of people will say, it's so expensive to eat well. Yes and no. I think if you start buying your produce, quality produce, you will find that you will be fuller. That does not mean to go out and buy the big bags of veggies and fruit, the huge bags, and bring them home and have half of it go in your compost because you let it go bad. It means getting things, even if you have to buy smaller bags or individual items. Because like when I purchase apples throughout the year, once I'm done with these, I buy 2 or 3 for the week. And David takes one a couple times a week. Actually, it's 4, because I get 2 and he gets 2. And we just kind of like, one day I'll have an apple, the next day I'll have something else. And I split it across the week. I realize that some dietitians are sharing information on how to have a balanced diet. And we do need to have a balanced diet. But that does not mean you have to eat everything all in one day. And that's why you can stretch your dollar bills. And, so when you buy your produce, think about the week. Or like oranges, I'm okay getting a 2 weeks worth. The grapes are usually 1 week. The apples I got at the farm will be fine for a few, especially if I put them down in a cold area in my cellar. They'll last for a little bit. So think about how long these foods last. Look at what you throw away every week. when you buy the chicken because it was too plump and it was too tough and nobody liked it, did you throw that away? Because if you did, you just wasted that money. So buy something small and tender, or when you get your packages in, cut them down and put them into individual cooking servings. Meaning that if you get a tray of chicken fillets, how many fillets are you going to cook? For my husband and I will cook up 4 at a time, generally. Sometimes I'll cook up more because I have plans to make 2 or 3 extra meals. That's the way I stretch our money, and then I can make that meal, put it in the freezer, or continue to consume it. The other day when I made the chicken, I think it was last week, I fried it up with some onions and garlic and some other stuff. And my husband, we had it for lunch with some veggies, and I had some salad stuff, and he had something else. Then I was just eating it as a snack. Yeah, I'm big on protein. I still eat my vegetables and fruit, but I like my protein because it makes me full. Now, another thing that I do is we did go to the farm yesterday, the dairy farm, and I picked up 2 gallons of raw milk. I tend to drink the raw milk because my body is happy with it. If I drink the milk my husband gets at the grocery store, I can't handle it. My stomach has issues, so I stay away from that. But what I'm able to do with the milk I get from the farm is I can make my own yogurt. And I end up making, from a gallon, I can make 3 quarts of yogurt. And then I have the whey that I can use in baking bread and baking other items. So it's a win. So that's part of how I stretch our dollar. So I don't have to, here is Thanksgiving, what am I doing? If I got invited somewhere, what would I do? What would I bring? Would I bring a tray of some fruit and veggies? Would I bring a treat? Would I bake something? That I don't know. I think I would think about it. Usually, like when we had family gatherings, it was like everybody pick a side. I would just make a list and I'd say everybody select what they want to make or bring, and that's what they did. So it would be something that I'm easily able to decide on. So as this holiday season comes, and I know everybody is already ready to get out to the grocery store, some have already done that, give yourself a half an hour in the grocery store. You can do it. You don't need to be there for an hour. You can do the pickup. You can order and pick up, which I did last week. That was fun. This week, I went in. We were in the store 20 minutes. The reason we were able to do that in 20 minutes, I had a list, and I went to those areas. I didn't pick up anything that I did not have on my list because I didn't want to pay for the other price. The reason I can do that is I know that the stores have lost leaders. The real good prices are to get you in the store. The turkey, the salmon were items to get me in the store. There's always going to be something to get you in the store. And then you're in there and you go buy the beautiful bouquets, the beautiful fruit. In Hannaford's, they have beautiful produce. And it's set up right, the lighting is right, so you're tempted for everything that you walk by. I'm a diehard produce lover. So when that happens, you can be culled into, drawn into wanting more than what you can afford. So that's why I do a list. So I got a little extra salmon, or I got a little bit extra, like the grapes were more than I wanted to spend, but that's the way they are priced. So what I do is I focus on those areas. Next week, if there's a sale, whether at Market Basket or Hannaford's, it doesn't really matter. Maybe Shaw's will have something. I haven't looked at their flyer in a while. But that if you do that, you'll find that your dollars are going a little bit farther. Now, I have bills just like everybody else, and those bills are getting higher and higher. And I have to offset them some way, and one of it is my food budget. And at first, before the prices started going up, we just kind of like, okay, this is the price it is. And then as things got progressively worse, I got tired of spending the money. Now, some of you might be thinking, $69, what are you upset about? Well, I'm not really, because of how I got it. But what I'm saying is, prior to that, I would go to the store and I can't need this and need that. And then I realized that I wasn't being as careful as I used to be. So, like, I consume molasses, that's my sweetener in my coffee. And then, so I'll buy that when it's on sale. I don't buy one, I might buy 4 because it doesn't go on sale very often. The coffee we purchase goes on sale once every 6 weeks approximately. So when I see that in the flyer, I will go and buy 4 to 6, maybe 8, sometimes 10, if they have the flavors that we enjoy, and then I'll do that. That's how I shop. And if this is an encouragement to see that I have a bill for $69, that's pretty good. Now some of you might be asking, well, what about your flour? I do buy my grains whole, and then I grind my flour. But I also have flour on hand. And what I do is when that was on sale, and I haven't seen it on sale in a long time, I would put it into my freezer, which takes up space so that my freezer is running more efficiently. When I got the turkeys, I pulled the flour out, and I had some other grains in there too that I just I can take them out now because it's only in there to keep my freezer running efficiently. And yes, you can put flour in your freezer so that it can kill any bugs or anything like that. You can do that, but I leave it in there because it's taking up space and saving on the electric bill. So I took those out so that the turkeys could go in. So I do have flour on hand. I have gluten-free flour and I have regular bread flour for my husband. I have a variety of flours that I use. And then I also have the grains that I've recently started purchasing, and I have ground my own flour so that I have that. It's a lighter, you can grind it to whatever. I do really fine, that's what I prefer. So that is some of the ways that we save on our budget. When I see butter on sale, I don't buy a pound. I don't buy 2 pounds. I buy about 4 or 8 pounds because I use butter every single day. Now, if there is no butter, what do? I save the bacon grease and I filter it so that all the little bits and stuff don't go through. I put it through a paper towel in a strainer and all the grease goes into a jar. I usually end up with all the bacon grease. I could end up with a small 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup depending on the bacon. And so I save that and I cook in that. I also have made lard from beef fat because I bought a 1/4 beef about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. So I made some lard out of that. I kept it in the freezer until I was able to use it, and I made my own. Is that lard or is that, I can't remember which. So anyways, you can use natural fat from pigs and from beef. One's tallow, one's lard. Lard is from the pigs, tallow is from the beef, I think. Before I ramble too much more, let me stop here and just say, just look at those flyers. When you go through the store, ask yourself, or when you're making the list, ask yourself, what is it that you want on your Thanksgiving table or your Thanksgiving weekend? What do you want? We don't buy ice cream because we'll make our own ice cream, but my husband doesn't want any this weekend, so we're not going to make any. If we want to make ice cream, we just have to go to the farm and pick up, another gallon of milk, and part of it we'll use specifically for that. So he's not interested. I don't eat ice cream like most. I might take my yogurt and put that in the freezer so I have frozen yogurt. So those are the things that we do. And like the berries and stuff, you can put that into frozen yogurt. It's pretty good. And but that's what I do. That's how I try to save money for us. I hope that you guys are doing well, and I hope that you are very cautious about how you're spending your money, making a list, setting a budget. And as you go and spend time alone, sitting back and relaxing, or spending time with loved ones, spending time with friends, who I hope are loved ones too, that you are taking time to enjoy the time together, being thankful that they're in your lives. And for those of you who might not have people in your lives right now, I hope that you know that life is still great. It doesn't have to tear you apart. And that's a hard thing to hear, but trust me, I know. And it can be very difficult and it can bring our spirits down. But my prayer is for all of those who are suffering, that your day is filled with brightness. Friends, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I pray that your Thanksgiving is wonderful, and may God bless each and every one of you. Have a nice night.